This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Charles Lawson.
And I'm David Parkerson. Today our guest is Amber Skubal, who is a resident assistant in Harrod Hall. Amber, what made you decide to become an RA?
Becoming an RA is a decision that you need a lot of help with. My parents and I discussed being an RA, and when you are an RA, you deal with a lot of people with different personalities, and I really like to be around people, and I thought this might be fun to do. And so I decided to talk to Jason and Connie, who are the hall directors in Harrod Hall, and they told me that being an RA is you're building community in the dorms or residence halls. And in order to build community, you have to have someone that can deal with different personalities and deal with different situations in the dorms. And I thought I was pretty easygoing and I have a good personality, and so I decided this might be for me.
So exactly what is an RA?
An RA is a residence assistant, and what we do is we live, I'm in charge of 21 girls, and what I do is I help, the first week of school, I help them get, situated, find out where their classes were, stuff like that. It's different in each dorm. When you deal with freshmen, you have to pretty much be their moms away from home. You deal with loud music, they go by rules, and the most important thing that I do as an RA is I show the girls what college life really is. I was there, I introduced them to a lot of people the first week of school, and they met Jason and Connie, and you just really are there for them. You're their friend, but you're also there to keep things in line.
How long have you been an RA?
This is my first semester to be an RA. I guess things have been really different. You have lots of people to deal with. This my first time, there have been a lot of things happen that I wasn't ready for, but I've had a lot of encouragement from people, and they've helped me to deal with the problems that I've had on my floor. But I really enjoy my job. It's a lot of fun.
So does being an RA require any training?
Yes, it requires. You go to workshop in the summer. I came back 2 weeks earlier than everybody else did before school started, and what we did was we did role play, and what that is it's like acting out different situations, and you learn how in the past people have dealt with certain situations, problems that we've had. We also got to know each other. All the other RAs that are on campus are like my family now. You go through 2 weeks of getting to know each other. You know last names, first names. You play lots of games together, but you also learn how to be in control of situations. I am a very easygoing person. I'm very nice, and I learned how to be, I guess, the responsible leader. And really that's what it's for. It's to teach you how to be a leader, and it teaches you what you need to know about your job, how you are going to handle a fire drill, how you're going to handle music loud, how you're going to handle writing people up, how you're going to handle people coming in from parties and things like that.
What are the qualifications to become an RA?
Qualifications. You have to have a 2.0 grade point average or better. You have to, I think you have to have been a sophomore. You can't be an RA as a freshman. Really, those are the only qualifications that I could tell you right now. But the things that you really need to have are personality. You have to be able to talk to people, able to compromise, able to decipher situations right from wrong, know what needs to happen in situations. I think the one qualification you need to have is to be able to live with a group of people that aren't the same, but make them come together and have something in common.
Have you ever had to flex any of your muscles in RA?
No, I haven't. The one thing I have had to do is when you tell somebody you need to turn your music down, being an equal, because I am no better than the girls in the dorm, I have to be their friend first. And then when you have to tell them, okay, I need you to turn your music down, it needs to be, you do it as, if you don't do it, then I'm going to have to write you up. It's like you're an authority, but you're going in as a friend saying, hey, can you do this for me?
What happens when you have to bust someone for breaking the rules?
The first thing you do is you tell them what they did wrong. One good example is that we've had this semester is people don't take their trash out to the dumpsters. They put it outside their door. And what we do is we tell the girls, okay, you can't leave your trash out here, so you warn them ahead of time. If they still break the rules, you write them up. And then once they're written up, Jason and Connie take care of it from there, and they have to go talk to them. And usually, I mean, after that, they're pretty well. They don't do it again.
Exactly what's the difference between a hall director and an RA?
The hall director is they're, I guess, the manager of the resident halls. What they do is they're in charge. The RA goes to them and tells them what's happened, both sides of the story. They tell them who it's about. Then if the girls that had the problem will go and talk to the hall director, or the boys will go talk to the hall director and tell them what happened, just like we did, but they hear it from the source, and then Jason and Connie will decide what needs to happen. What are
TNTs?
TNTs are Tuesday night things, and they're very, very important in the freshman dorms. What they do is really they bring the girls together, and they do something that they do as a whole. We have professors off campus. I know Cletus Stewart has come and spoke to the girls about diversity and just things like that, educational and social. Just giving the girls a chance to get to know other people on campus, that if they see them walking around, they can say, oh, I saw you, you did this, and maybe they can talk to them. Maybe that person could help the girls just, with the problem they might have if we're not there. It just helps them to get to know the campus just a little bit better.
So exactly what's the turnout of these events you hold?
Oh, wow. We've had really good turnouts. We had a talent show last week. Tasha Keaton, one of the RAs in Harrod, did this, and it was in the Bruce Center, and it was, the girls that were in it were from Harrod, but it got a lot of people on campus involved. There were 215 people at this event, and I think that's been the biggest one we've had all year. I did one on car care, which teaches how to change a tire, how to change your oil, that sort of thing. We have a lot of people that come from other states that might have car trouble on their way home, and the girls they did a good job, but I think I had like 25. So it just depends on what you're doing. If they're really interested in it, you'll have a better turnout.
What are the purposes of the freshman events?
The purpose is to get the girls involved with one another. Maybe they'll meet somebody that will be their best friend the rest of the time they're here that they wouldn't have met any other way. Also, it helps the girls maybe to open doors for opportunities, get to know the people that come and speak to them. We're having Greek night next week, and what that will do is open the door up for girls that might want to join a sorority and just things like that.
How many RAs are there on staff?
I know that there are 7 RAs in my building, and it just depends on what. I know the freshman dorms you have to have more because you're simply dealing with people that, they've never been away from home, and they just need that extra comfort. And in the upper class dorms, they don't have as many because they're used to the ropes. They know what it's like. They've been away from home, so they don't need that. They really, they need you for a light bulb, or they need you for something like that. They don't really need you to be there as, I guess, their friend like the freshman dorms do.
What are the most common complaints that students have?
The most common complaints are the music being too loud, and you can't really say that someone's music's too loud because it's different people. Getting along with each other is a big problem, and we haven't had that bad of a problem this year. The girls have been very good with one another. They get along, and they respect each other's property, privacy, that sort of thing. They don't really. The girls are very good with one another. And I think that most of our girls have come from the same kind of background. You're going to have those that come from different, you're going to have different situations from each girl. But other than that, they do really good together.
What's the most serious situation you've ever faced as an RA?
This happened last week. I had 4 policemen come to me, and they had to arrest one of the girls in Harrod for shoplifting, and that was very hard. That was a difficult situation because I didn't know if I should write a report on it or how I should handle that because the hall directors weren't there. And being a first semester RA, I wasn't real sure how to handle that, but I just wrote down what happened. The policemen were very nice, and they helped me, decide, or they told me who it was that did what, and so we did that, but that was the hardest thing I've had to do so far.
Do you get along with the other RAs?
Oh, yes. We're like one big happy family. We have different personalities. We come from different areas. We have some international students that are RAs, and I've learned a lot about different places, just different ways we talk. The lingo that people use in Texas is different from Arkansas, and I've noticed that. And I've met people that duck hunt and things like that, and we all get along really well. If I ever have a problem, I know I could go to one of my fellow RAs, and they would be there to tell me what I need to do.
What's exactly the term for an RA?
I'm sorry?
What's the term for an RA?
Residence assistant. And the reason we use residence assistant is because we live in the residence halls with the girls, and we're there to assist them if they have a problem and they need somebody to help them.
How do you feel about curfew on guests?
I think we need curfew. It doesn't happen very often in the freshman dorms that you hear of somebody breaking curfew, and if they do, they get wrote up for it, and usually they get caught. But I think when my parents dropped me off at SAU, they lived 2.5 hours away, and they were not real excited about the idea of a boy or boys being in the girls' dorm at nighttime, simply because you don't know who they are, you don't know what they would do, and so I think it's good that we have curfew, because when girls are ready to go to bed, they don't want to have to worry about someone being outside that could come in their rooms, and it's good.
The question I made earlier about terms exactly was, what's the time length of an RA? Is it per semester or per year?
It's per semester. You have to, you're interviewed, and your job depends on how well you do as an RA. And if you do the qualifications, if you keep your grades up, if you do your job, if you're there, and if you don't skip out on your DD night and stuff like that, you have to do your job to keep your job.
I heard that being an RA is like being in a sorority.
It is. In my sorority, I've met lots of different people, and we do lots of things together. And it's just like in the dorms. The girls come in my room, and we'll watch a movie, or we'll draw a picture. We do posters every month for birthdays and stuff like that, and we do it as a group. And I feel like with my 21 girls, I feel like I have that special bond with them like I do with my sorority sisters.
Is there somewhat of a hierarchy amongst the RAs? Like, is there one RA that's in charge and a second in command, or are all y'all on the same rank?
We're all on the same level. There's the hall directors, and Dean Corson is above the hall directors, and then it's us. So it's just like a little triangle that makes its way down. But no, we're all equal.
What takes so long during a fire drill?
The fire drill starts, all the RAs know when it's going to happen, and then when the alarm goes off, we all meet in the lobby, and each floor, there's 3 RAs on my floor, so one person gets the key, and you have to go to each room, and you have to knock on every door, say RA, fire drill, get them out, and if they're in there, make sure they get out. That's what takes so long, is getting everybody out, checking all the rooms, and making sure that there's nobody that's just in the bathroom or something. You have to check them all.
What's some of the procedures for other safety drills?
Last year, there was a tornado, some in the proximity of Columbia County. I'm not real sure where it was, but they made all the girls come down to the first floor and get in the hallway. And I think there were even some people from outside that were walking from class that they made come in and get away from all the windows. And it just depends. We really haven't had a drill for a tornado, but I know when one comes through, when we've had storms come through, that's how they have handled that.
How often are the safety drills?
The fire drills usually last as long as we need the time to get the girls out. Usually it takes about 3 minutes for a fire drill.
What's the advantages of being an RA?
The advantages of being an RA, well, you get your own room, your room and board is paid for, you get to meet lots of people, you have lots of fun. It's a great experience for anybody. I think that I have a family away from my family, and that's been really good for me because I'm really close to my family, and the RAs and the hall directors and Dean Corson, they have been wonderful for me. I've just blossomed, I think, because I just feel like I can go to class and there's one sitting there and we'll just start talking, and I think that's been a very good advantage that I've had, getting to know a lot of people.
What are the disadvantages of being an RA?
The disadvantages, I would have to say, you have a lot of responsibility, and everything that you do is watched by those girls. And I think that, if I go home, I'm fine because nobody that I go to school with is there. But when I'm here, I feel like I'm like a mom. They watch what I do and how I study in class. And if I'm in class, they watch that and they think, well, if she can do it, then I can do it. But if she doesn't have to do it, I don't have to do it. I think that's the big disadvantage.
So earlier you said, when we talked about how long it takes to train an RA. Is that include for like per semester or?
No, it's in the summertime. It is 2 weeks, and then at Christmas, I think it's January 7th. We have to come back, and we're here for 4 or 5 days, and that's another training. You go through training at the beginning of each semester.
What is Dean Corson's role with the RAs?
He's a teacher, friend, coach, someone that you can go to, and if you have a problem, he'll listen. He hires us, he's in charge of us, but if we have a problem with one of our girls, we go to Jason and Connie, or I go to Jason and Connie because they're my hall directors. But Dean Corson is there if we need him. I also had to take a class under him this semester. As a first-year RA, it's required that you take a class, and he has taught us how to deal with different personalities, different conversations, and things like that. He's very wonderful in that aspect.
Does the RA get to choose which dorm they wish to work in?
When you're going through your interview, you have to put on your application your top 3 choices, and normally if a first-year RA has to be in Harrod, and then you can go to Bussey if you're a woman, or you can go to Talbot. And for the men, it goes from Green to Talbot to Tally. And so it just depends on what you put on your application.
How much power does an RA have?
I don't know if we have power. Our authority is limited, but we are in charge of telling the girls if something's going on that shouldn't be going on. I don't think we have any certain power, but I look at us as a parent. I mean, just like a parent, they don't have power over their child, but their authority is over that child. And I feel like if I think it's best for one of my girls, I'll tell them, this is the way you need to do this. Or if I see them not going to class, I'm going to approach them with it. But when you write somebody up, that's when your power comes in, because that teaches them, and they probably won't do it again.
Earlier when we talked about the curfews on guests, do you strongly agree with the curfews? Do you feel they should be longer, shorter?
I think they're good the way they are, because my girls I know go to bed before midnight, and that's when curfew is. And I think that it's good because I know if they want to, go to their friend's room and they have on their pajamas and they meet a guy in the hallway, that's kind of uncomfortable for 18-year-old girls. And I think that it's good in the freshman dorms. I'm not going to say that, we need to keep it that way, but I think it's very good to have it that way. But in the upperclassmen dorms, it could be flexible. But I think in my case, being in the freshman dorm, I think it's wonderful.
What kinds of jobs do you perform as an RA?
As an RA, I have to work the desk 1 night a week for 2 hours, and what that is I sit when people check in, I have to check them in and answer the phones and stuff like that. Then, once a week, you have a duty night, which means you patrol the halls, make sure everything's fine, make sure nobody's fighting, nothing's going wrong, and we have to log in a book every hour, saying what's going on in the dorm, just like a little journal. And then once a week we meet with Jason and Connie for a meeting, just to catch up and make sure everybody's doing okay, and just to talk and just stuff like that. And we also have, like I said, the first year RAs have to go to class, have a required class they have to attend, and I think that's it.
What all other things do y'all have for freshmen other than TNTs?
That's the big thing that we do, but I know on my floor, I get together with my girls once a week, and if they need help studying or if I need help studying, I'll go to them. But our doors are always open, and on my floor, between 7 and 10, everybody else's door's open, and it's just like one big happy family.
How do you feel about the check-in procedures? Do you feel that they're good? Do you feel we should have more increased security? After all, it's somewhat easy for a guy to get into the dorm, a lot easier than a lot of people think. Do you feel there should be increased security? Are our check-in procedures all right as they are?
I think in Harrod, our check-in procedures are wonderful. There's a police officer he comes in on the hour almost, and he just checks in and says, "Hi, how's everything going?" And our doors to the girls' rooms are locked, and so are the outside doors, except for the lobby doors. And so I think that our check-in procedures are wonderful.
What would one have to do to become an RA?
The first thing you have to do is decide if you think you could handle being an RA. Then you have to go and get an application. You fill out the application, you turn it in to Student Life, and then at the end of the semester, you usually get something saying the interviews are going to be, and then Dean Corson meets with all the people that want to interview, and then you go through an interview, which means you meet with 3 or 4 of the RAs from the past, and they'll ask you questions, and then you have to show your creativity and write on pieces of paper and just stuff like that. And it's interesting.
Is it true that you said that one has to be a sophomore to be an RA?
I know you can't be a freshman. First-year students cannot be RAs.
Okay. If a student is transferring, he was an RA at a previous university, will he still have to take the RA test at this school?
The RA class?
Well, the training, the testing.
Yes, all the RAs, even the RAs that have been RAs for 3 years, have to go through the training, and every semester.
What kind of training do y'all have?
It's in the summer we have the 2 weeks of just role play, which acting out and that sort of thing, and then in the spring we also do the same thing.
Is there anything you feel there should be different about the dorms?
I think Harrod is the best place on campus. There are different people. The girls are energetic. They're wonderful. And I think our staff, and I know the other staffs are wonderful too, but Harrod's staff is wonderful. We're a team. We work together. I know all the girls in the dorm or in the residence halls, and I think that there are things that could be different, but I guess what we have access to, I think we're doing the best that we can. And Dean Corson has been wonderful in helping us come up with things to do and how things should be different. And I've learned a lot just by watching the hall directors and Dean Corson.
What kinds of events do y'all hold for the halls?
Well, the TNTs are things that we do, and the family day, we do the bed race, which that gets all the residence halls involved into one thing, and you get to meet people from other from the other residence halls. And at the first of the year, the Green Hall and Harrod Hall have a mixer in the Bruce Center. And we do that thinking that the girls and the guys will intermix and they'll get to know each other, and maybe they'll make friendships that will help them get through the next 4 years, because it's really hard for freshmen to make that change from high school to college. And it's really, they need to be surrounded by people that are nice and that are friends to them.
So, being an RA is everything you expected it to be, right?
There are things that I expected out of being an RA, like having my own room, my privacy, getting studying done. But I've had girls come to me at 3 o'clock in the morning that have just broke up with their boyfriends. There's always going to be those kinds of things, but I love my job. It has been the best thing. I never had brothers and sisters as a child, and when I joined my sorority, I thought, now I'm going to have a family. Then when I became an RA, it was like I had another happy family that was there for me, that supported me, that believed in me, and that's very important. And I do the same with my girls.
Do you think the curfew should be lengthened?
On the weekends, it might be nice to lengthen it just a little bit, but I think for the freshmen, it's what it should be, because I don't think that they're ready for all the freedom that older, like sophomores and juniors and seniors have. I don't think they're ready for that, because they're just coming out of mom and daddy's hands, and they need to learn some things first before they have those privileges.
So then you strongly feel that you go for a second term of being an RA?
Oh yes, I love my job. I love the feeling I get from my girls. That I have friendships that I hope that they're going to be there forever from my girls, and I know that being an RA, I'll meet more girls and I'll have more friends, and other RAs, I have friendships with them that I probably wouldn't have had any other way. And with Dean Corson, he has been a wonderful role model for me, not only in the classroom but also for life.
Do we practice any other drills other than fire drills?
Only in the case that something would happen, a natural disaster would happen, like when the tornado would come through, or if there was a bomb in one of the rooms, or something like that. That would be the only way we would. But we wouldn't handle things like that.
Well, thank you for being our guest today,
Thank
Amber.
you.
This concludes another edition of the SAU Report. I'm Charles Lawson.
And I'm David Parkerson.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.